Don't know why I'm always like the last person to do one of these top 10 videos, but anyway, at least I'm actually doing one this year. I did film one for 2019, but then 2020 happened, and it's just sat in the folder on my computer there the whole time. So here we are. It's 2021. I want to say we're out of the frying pan that is 2020 at least. So now it's time to look back at not all these, it's the whole point of this video. I'm only looking at 10 of them. The top 10 robots that I got in the year of 2020, not ones that just came out in 2020, it's just the ones that I found that resonated with me in some manner through that hell year. So here we go. Let's begin. Music, eye-catching graphic. Number 10, in no particular order, because it's hard enough for me to pick out favourites, let alone rank them in like numerical order down to the very most utter best pinnacle, zenith. No, I can't do that. Numbers are fake. It's Beast Machine's Jetstorm. It was either going to be this lad or Tankor up there. Around about sort of, I'm just going to say the autumn, I can't remember what month it was. I hit a really big, like late 90s, like Beast era kick. And it was all because of this guy. I don't know why, I was just going on eBay one day and I found loads of really good, like Beast Machines and Beast Wars stuff. Like this guy was still sealed, he was brand flipping new. And I got him for the retail price that he would have sold for 20 years ago. Yeah, flipping brilliant, mate. Look at the colours. I love that sort of slightly greenish metallic blue that he's got, the yellow stripes against it all. Brilliant, mate. For a very long time, somehow I forgot there was actually a deluxe Jetstorm, because I put the big ultra one with all the lights and sounds and the shiny bits on my Christmas list back in 2000, and I never got him. So that's been like the only one that was ever on my mind for years. But I had seen this before. I had seen this back in the day. When I finally got this in my hands after I'd ordered it, it was like, oh no, it's doing something to me. The whole look, those colours, the deco, it did something. The Deluxe Optimus Primal wasn't the only one I ever saw in a shop, because that never sold and it just sat there for ages. And like, yeah, this guy came in the same wave as that. So at some point I had seen another Beast Machines toy that was actually decent, and yeah, oh, it's so good. It encapsulates a lot of the stuff we don't get anymore. And yeah, he doesn't look anything like how he does in the cartoon, but honestly I prefer this look. The same with Tankor. You know, if they'd actually made them look just like the toys, that would have been better. I think I would have preferred that. There's something going on with the designs of these is a particular vintage that's very of the era. I must mention how I did get the RID Storm Jet version of this before this earlier in the year, but it was like missing like the glass out of his cockpit. Glass. And because it was sold to me like as new, like in his box and everything, obviously put back in the box by someone, it was just like, just destroyed most of the good feeling I had from getting that, because that was a figure I wanted for ages. And then it was like, no, you know what, let's just go back to the source and get proper Jetstorm after I'd got another Jetstorm in the year, because I got movie Jetstorm in like spring as well. So bit of a stormy, jetty stormy year 2020. All right, then let's go for number 9, Studio Series Off-Road Bumblebee. He's just well good. You know, like the Volkswagen one doesn't quite hit the spot, does it? Let's be honest. Because it was made while they were still making the film. You know, that Cybertron opening sequence we all go nuts for, that was made like 6 weeks before the film came out. You know, so I think it was a bit foolish to ever think that the toys we were having at the time of the film were going to really be spot on. It's a bit of a bummer that we've had to wait basically 2 years for decent figures from the Bumblebee film, you know, Blitzwing and all that. But it was worth it, because this is the best movie Bumblebee now. I don't care that he only turned into this for like 5 minutes at the beginning of the film. It's so nice. I just love all the sort of shapes he's made out of, his big square feet and the angled GP chest here. It's brilliant. It was just so perfect to get him during the summer as well, you know, rumbling him around outside in his perfect Jeep mode with all the real bees in the garden. It's just, yeah, bright and sunny and just fun. Oh, just the goodest boy. And if, you know, Movie Hound wasn't already the big fat man, this would make the perfect movie hound. Number 8, sticking with the movies, it's 2007 Voyager Megatron. I never saw this at the time, never saw it in the shop. It's such a weird thing. He came from Chris McFeely, and it's just, I don't know, I just look at it and just sort of make a face, because what's going on? What's going on? Why did they make it like this? Covered in ice, it's got blue eyes. His wings, it's just a massive sheet of like ice up there, and then you extend yet more icicles, which just kind of feels unpleasant in the dim depths of January. And you do this, and he's got like a pinchy, cold, grasping attack, and it's, I don't know what's going on there. But it's such a strange toy. I mean, he doesn't really do very much to transform. You know, if we're being honest, as a transformer, he's not particularly good if you're using that word as a verb, but there's just something about it that I like. It's unique, it's of its time. Because I did decide to go and just complete my first movie, Decepticons. I got a Starscream, finally got a payload. What a pain in the arse he is in his robot mode. But Megatron is, you know, the king of all those. So here he is on the list. His feet are all sprung, like they close up when you pick him up. Why has he got gold fingers? He's got a gun on this arm, which is of course the wrong arm for a Megatron to have a gun on. Loads of weird stuff going on, but loads of really good detail. And I kind of like how you've got all these weird blue bits and the gold bits, and it's just interesting. But I've got to be honest, like, yeah, he's not really on the list because he's one of the 10 best figures I got all year. He's just something odd that I really kind of like, and I keep coming back to. Also representing the fact that I got more Megatrons than anyone else through the year 2020. Is that an evil omen? Number 7 is repping the Cyberverse, because Cyberverse, while it was still going on, and, you know, before it felt like it finished quite quickly in around March, it was good, wasn't it? You know, what a mental, both the toy line and cartoon Cyberverse was, really, wasn't it? Just deep fan cuts everywhere. I could walk into Sainsbury's and buy a toy of Repugnus. What's going on? But the toy I've chosen to represent my fleeting, it seems now, love for Cyberverse through 2020 is One Step Bludgeon. Yeah, it's the sheer gall of the concept that you could watch a cartoon with Bludgeon in it and then go and buy his toy at the supermarket. Like, I'm sorry, that's kind of surreal, really, isn't it, to a long-time Transformers fan? Here he is. He can only move his elbows, and this one wrist, like a bit like Armada Wheeljack. He's only got one wrist, which is his gimmick, which is just doing that, which is rubbish, but it's kind of a laugh at the same time. What he's really here for, though, is just the fact that, take his sword off, it's, look at that, tank, robot, tank, robot, tank, robot. That is a hoot. People complain about the one-step changes and all the kiddie toys, don't they? But I've got to say, when it comes to the Cyberverse stuff, I feel like this is where you're getting the most sort of fun and interesting and just, I don't know, unique stuff. The way each of them transforms is a bit of a small engineering marvel, and I like Bludgeon. Number 6 is Earthrise Grapple. He was my first Earthrise toy, and I've got to say, I feel like I made a good decision, because straight out of the gate, I feel like it's just like, he's the best one. You know, Earthrise was a bit of a weird thing, really, wasn't it? 3 waves was not enough. It just didn't feel like it ever got going. We had a full, like, what, 8 months without anything new, with just wave 1. You know, it's stagnant, and it was just, half of it was stuff I didn't want, or was just re-releases of Siege stuff, and it's like, it reduced down the number of toys that I actually wanted and was interested in by so much by the end of it. It's like, it was there, it was gone, got a few, it's done. That was supposed to be the big, fun, cool, must-have, Vogue toy line of the year. And it was just a bit boring, really, wasn't it? Nevertheless, about half of this list is Earthrise toys. They were still good, what I did get, but I've got to say, it was a bit disappointing overall, really, wasn't it? Not mentioning quality control issues, of which Grapple is, you know, a candidate for. Thankfully mine wasn't. But here we go, he's good. It's just like, bosh, mate, what a good toy. Grapple may not be the most exciting character. Oh, Hoist, give me a hug. I can't be the bloke off of location because the Decepticons are waging a war on us. Oh no. But as a toy, oh, it's flipping brilliant. Oh, it's just big and solid and orange. He's got the hazard stripes and a big old crane that'll go all over the place in either mode. And oh, it's just good. I like it. How utilitarian it is, how industrial he feels. He's got the big gun, he's got the claw, he's got the gun needly nozzle attachment for his hands. His legs just work really nicely. He's got massive feet and he transforms exactly like you think he does. And that's not a bad thing. Like, I honestly do really like how it's just the G1 transformation. Exactly the same, pretty much. Bring on Inferno, he's going to be brilliant. But for now, Grapple, very, very nice. Possibly one of the most underrated toys of the year by the fandom at large. Number 5 is his Wavemate Scream, who I said I wouldn't buy because he's not as good as the Siege one. It's a total downgrade compared to what was technically the best figure of 2019. Blah, blah, blah. I really like it. Oh, I really like it. So his arms don't go all over the place and he hasn't got any light piping and paint is already starting to come off of his red bits, and I broke off a flight stand under his skirt there. Yeah, it is a downgrade. You know, it is technically. All the detail, paint, in every regard, it's a downgrade to the one we had last year. But it's still really good. What kind of poser was I being, telling myself that I don't want a decent, big, chunky, solid toy of the second most iconic design in Transformers? It just works. It just, yeah, it's good. I didn't put it down for a good solid 6 months. Don't know what to tell you, man. It's so nice. The jet mode is very nearly perfect. If it wasn't for this grey loopy bit underneath that you can stick your finger in and go whoosh round with it. It's just nice. And I feel like here is the point where I will address one of the big sticking points of 2020, which was how, like, getting any of his repaints, any of them, was a complete pain and far too much effort, and I didn't engage in it and didn't manage to get any of the other Seekers, and at the time I wasn't bothered. But now I'm like, oh, I could really go for a Skywarp and a Thundercracker. Like, ha ha ha, I haven't got 80 quid to spend on the same toy twice again. Like, so at least I managed to get Starscream, and he's very much enjoyable, yes. Cranking it up for number 4, it's Earthrise Astrodrain. I only got him at Christmas. And just like all of his appearances in recent media, he comes in right at the end for a brief appearance and kind of steals the show a little bit. Oh, this is brilliant. You know, loads of people were complaining about the fact that he's small. It's like, yeah, okay. Most of the Voyagers from Earthrise or even Siege are like taller than him. I don't really care. This definitely feels like one of those figures where they're using the sort of budget that they're working to in just the right way. You know, there's too much going on here for him to have ever been able to be sold as a Voyager. You know, it's like, yes, okay, the box of guns is kind of just a kind of consolation prize for the fact that, you know, they're asking for so much more money. Really, you're not paying for that. You're paying for the amount of bits and pieces and the layers and the density and the engineering that's going on in this bit, and they just gave you guns and guns in a box and some slippers just to kind of sweeten the deal a bit. Kind of more partial to the lighter grey, more like real world space shuttle colours of his like original toy, but you know, as much as this is Astrotrain from the cartoon, I will give him points for having the best voice in the cartoon. It's flipping spot on. I don't know really what else you would want. One of those things that I just instantly opened up and thought, yeah, this is proper quality. Number 3 is Select's Rotor Storm. Oh, have you seen a better looking thing all year? I mean, I got Spinister in 2020 as well, but this blows him completely out of the water. even though, of course, the mould was made to be Spinister in so many different ways. Somehow it works better for me as Rotorstorm. Cockpit's in the wrong place, you know, it's just painted on his chest. That should be all the see-through stuff that's down here on his legs, but no, it's just deco, but it works. I love the colours. It just pops straight into your retinas like, I don't know, the light is punching your cone cells. It's a brand new toy of Rotorstorm, and basically just because of that, it doesn't really matter what it ended up being like. Just because it is that, I was going to love it, and I was definitely going to buy it. And his head sculpt, and oh mate, it was when I took my hardcover copy of Last Stand of the Wreckers to TFN 2017, I handed it to Nick Roche for him to sign it, and he asked me what my favourite wrecker was, and without hesitation I said Rotorstorm, and he did a little doodle of him in the front, and I kind of had to have this one. Number 2 is the best Earthrise toy. Yeah, I'm going to say that, the best Earthrise toy. It's Runabout. I don't have Runamuck. I'm not particularly interested in having the pair of them just because they come as a pair. For whatever reason, the black one has always been the one that sticks in my mind as the cooler one. I don't know why, because I would have found out about both of them at exactly the same time. But it's always this bloke that is stuck in my head as that cool car goon. And it's brilliant. I mean, yeah, because I love this. Maybe getting Runamuck would be great, but he needs the orange and he's only got one gun. It's like, oh, come on. This is superior. It's got the matte black paint and all this see-through red. It just, oh, it works. It feels so good as well. All the plastic is so nice and solid, and his joints are great. I like the white paint on his wheels and the red stripe up the side of the car. Oh, it's so classy. Just really, really does something for me. And maybe his car mode reminds me of my dad's old Sirocco GT2. I'm not sure. Now we've reached the number 1 spot. While I said I wasn't going to rank things like that, this is the best toy that's come out in 2020. Last Kingdom Payload tracks, mate. What a triumph this is. Just, I feel like just far and beyond the realm of Transformers and good Transformers. This is like one of the best just action figures. Just straight action figures, the entire genre that we've had in years. It's a robot skeleton man made out of a T-Rex's fossilized bones. Mate, he's got a screaming skull for a face and big dinosaur claw hands, and just it's so good. It's one of those things that it's just flicked a little switch in the back of my head that kind of says, I've always wanted something like this. It's like it's delved right back in there to, like, I don't know, how old was I when I last cared about Jurassic Park? About 4. It's delved deep back into the old 90s brain, and oh, I love it so much. The whole fact that you just pull him apart, you've got a pile of dinosaur bones, and you can go and attach them to everyone else, and then make it all up into just the Jurassic Park logo as a toy. Basically, that's what it is, isn't it? And then you got this bony, lanky robot bloke. Cool. I'm slightly self-projecting onto. That's why I'm calling it a he. I don't know if this is supposed to be a girl robot or not. Vertebrake, they said explicitly that she's a she. I don't know about this one. But yeah, sorry, he's going to be a he in my house, because it's just feels good to have a really skinny robot, and it just feels really nice to just have a new Predacon, like just to have something new with that purple bug face badge slapped on it. Yeah, so with number 1 spoken about there, I feel like, yeah, 2021, I mean, January alone, you know, look at the Studio Series 86 stuff, look at all the Kingdom stuff we're getting. Flipping hell, mate. You know, just the first month's worth of toys already looks like it's going to be really hard to beat for the rest of the year. So what we got to get? What we going to get? Oh, it's going to be good. I hope so. I've already got Cyclonus, and flipping hell, that is going to be hard to beat. And I really, really hope that it just signposts that Studio Scourge is going to be brilliant. And then the Galvatron that we've not seen yet is going to be even more kick-ass. So that's my top 10 of 2020. Time for me to offer some kind of rhetoric in conclusion. What will be on our list for 2021? You find out as the year goes on, because time progresses in a linear fashion, mostly, although a lot of it is, you know, kind of a preconception in the human mind, which may be false. Right, I'm off to cover Astrotrain and some dinosaur bones, and you can't stop me.